Thank you so much. We go straight to ANC Chief Whip Jackson Mthembu, who is here with us this morning. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us. I see you said you haven't even gotten enough sleep today, but the State of the Nation address, the speech must have kept you excited.
Definitely, we are looking forward to the State of the Nation address as the African National Congress, particularly at a time where we are emphasizing radical economic transformation. And we are saying as a party that indeed we do have political power, but the majority of our people, the majority of whom are black, African and female, they are still not owning the productive assets of our country. Therefore, we will be listening attentively to our president. How do we fundamentally change the systems, the institutions, as well as the ownership patterns of the economy in favor of our people, the poor, the African in particular, and female?
You are an ANC member. You are the ANC Chief Whip. You've said you will be listening attentively to President's address, but the opposition parties and some of the organizations, civil organizations, they have a completely different opposite things to say. In fact, DA, one of the leaders, said right now that President is just paranoid with oppositions. What are your reaction on that?
Well, I'm not opposition. As the African National Congress, our interest and our only interest, even when we fought for the liberation of this country, our people were at the heart of our interests. Therefore, the aspirations of our people, the needs of our people, and what will come out of this State of the Nation address in favor of our people is what is at the heart of the interest of the African National Congress. And like I've said, we do have political power. We must make use of that political power, make use of the state instruments that we have to transform the economy in favor of all people of South Africa, particularly black people, who at this point in time, as you will know, even in the joint Johannesburg Stock Exchange, less than 3% ownership is accounted for black directors. In a country that has got over 50 million people who are black, you only have 3% ownership of the economy that is accounted for black people. It can't be correct. We are saying we'll be listening attentively. What plans does our government, through our president, put on the table to fundamentally change this economic equation?
Yes, Mr. Mthembu, you're absolutely right when you say black African people in particular, they are politically developed over the years. They have, but economically, they're still far below. To bridge this gap, what do you want President to do? We talk about radical economic transformation that you did. Many other people does, and I mentioned this before. It sounds very fancy, but what is the ANC or the president going to offer to those people sitting in villages and rural areas who do not even know the meaning of this?
Let's invest in rural areas where they are. Government must come with, in our view, with an investment plan there.
Why has it taken so much time? Why every year there is the same thing, repetition of this again and again? And we've heard many other people saying this SONA will not be different from the other years. President has been promising, but he has not been delivering. What would be your comment on that?
Well, I wouldn't say that. You will know that we have promised on education, we have delivered on education. Many of our schools, particularly basic education schools, are no-fee schools, so it can't be correct. Even higher education institutions, many of our kids who go to these universities are getting to these universities assisted by the state. Those who are poor, those who come from poor backgrounds, but also those who are in the missing middle. Our kids, my children, are paying because indeed I can afford. But children of teachers, children of nurses, those are the missing middle. They can't pay, they can't even get loans from institutions of banking to pay for their children. Therefore, government has intervened. We have built more than 4 million houses for the poor. So I would say it can't be correct that we have done nothing. But we need to do more. That is the point that we're making. We need to do more. We need to get into these rural economies and make sure that these economies are changed in favor of our people. But township economies, we have seen an influx of people from other countries in these township economies. How do we change this without being xenophobic in favor of people who live in the townships? Therefore, we need a plan that makes us to invest in township economies, a plan that makes us to invest in rural economies, but a plan that says, how do you ensure that these multinationals that are in the country, that black people have ownership in the productive assets that they own, so that we don't continue to have land owned elsewhere and our people are landless. We would like, of course, you can't say that you are free when you don't have actual land that you can account for as your own. Therefore, we need to see quantifiable progress on land restitution and wealth, inclusive wealth restitution as well.
And as much as President is the head of the state, he's the president of the ANC, who is the ruling party in this country. With the kind of result in the local government elections, do you think this address by the president can be a game changer come the national elections in 2019?
Of course, we don't do anything with an election in mind. When we fought for the liberation of our people, there was no election in mind. We were prepared to lose our lives for the freedom of the people of South Africa. And many of us did so, they lost their lives. Therefore, when we want changes in the social and economic aspects of our people's lives, we have no election agenda in mind. It's just a right thing to do. How can you have a country of 55 million people and 50 million of those people do not have anything on ownership of the economy of that country? You go to Japan, you go to even Zimbabwe, you go to any country in Europe, you go to the US, the majority of people of that country will obviously take ownership even of the productive assets of that country. So it's a right thing to do. We might have been a little bit slow. That's why as ANC we are saying we must be radical now in actualizing this economic transformation. So it's not have anything to do with elections. Whether it's an election year or not an election year, it's a right thing to do. That's what we have promised our people. We said we will give you political freedom. We'll give you social freedom to live wherever you want to live. But we will also, working together with you, give you economic freedom. And that's where we have been found wanting. Let's improve this.
Also, can I give a clarification to the general public on, the SANDF deployment here? You've been against that. Would you like to correct that?
Well, I've been here in Parliament. I was here yesterday. I came here early in the morning. My car was searched. There were no soldiers there. I'm here with you. I'm in Parliament. I don't know whether you have seen any soldiers.
But yes, we have seen no soldiers here. We have gotten clear. But were you against this? Are you against this deployment of SANDF soldiers?
Where? By the way, soldiers can be deployed by their commander-in-chief anywhere. But the president has not deployed any soldiers in the precinct of Parliament. He has not. I've not seen any write-up to that effect that the president has deployed soldiers here. I've not seen any soldiers. At any rate, as the chief whip of the majority party here, this is not a military barrack. This is a parliament of the people of South Africa. Therefore, I will not see my president deploying soldiers here because there is no need for such.